Hi all, thank you for coming here today with us. I hope the sound is good. I know this is not L-Acoustic, but whatever. I'm Laurent Stosky, Senior Legal Counsel for L-Acoustics, and I'd like to discuss with you about a topic which is very important for us, but is often disregarded in our industry, counterfeiting. Well, I know counterfeiting is not something that is new, but it has become a global issue since anyone has faced fake products almost one or at least one time in their life. Why do we care about counterfeiting? As Laurent Vessier said, innovation is at the core of L-Acoustics. We continuously bring new products and new technology to the market to shape the future of sound. From VDOSC to SIVA up to K3. And that's the reason why L-Acoustics is today recognized by by all professionals and fans alike, like a major company with its products used by best artists like Depeche Mode, Billie Eilish, the Foo Fighters, and in the biggest events like this year's Super Bowl, the reopening of Notre Dame, or the Olympics. If you remember, back in April 2023, we had a great show in the US announcing a new product, the L series, which is comprised of L2 and L2D, a breakthrough concept made possible by years of innovation and R&D. Unfortunately, just a few months later, we had that listing that appeared on internet on Alibaba for a professional loudspeakers with the same product name, made in China, with the same design, even using screenshots from our own website, but at a totally different price. Unfortunately, this is not a unique case because basically almost all products of L-Acoustics have been copied and are offered on the internet. So this situation is clearly not acceptable for us and raises a lot of challenges. But this is not only about L-Acoustics or even the live event industry. Counterfeiting is a global phenomenon which has been emphasized by the use of internet. But irrespective of the products and the company at stake, you have to keep in mind that counterfeiting always has the same effect for every company: economic losses, reputation damages, and safety issues. As for L-Acoustics, our main concern clearly lies with the economic impact of counterfeiting. Some of you might say that it's not because there's an increase in counterfeiting that you will have lower sales in L-Acoustic products for the manufacturer. Well, that's true, because people going directly online to buy fake products won't be buying genuine products in the first time. But that only works for direct buyer. The situation is slightly different when there is a gap between the manufacturer and the end user. For instance, when you go to a local rental company and you find products just a little lower than the usual price, you won't understand and you won't know that this may be counterfeit, but it is. And that's clearly the main problem for us, that this economic impact will hit our distribution network first, because they will be the one struggling with those competitors who have bought products at a much lower price. And if you want an example, just look at this price list directly coming from China. You clearly see that the price is not in line with L-Acoustics genuine products. So they can offer products at a much lower price. And we cannot accept that our network is damaged by these full players. So this is also one of the reasons we act to protect our network. But we remain clearly mindful of the other effect of counterfeiting. Fake audio products are meant to look like genuine ones from a distance. So if you look at the external aspect of the products, it's usually very good, only a few details missing. But when you go inside the product to see the component, how it has been made, that's a totally different story. Why so? Because a lower price means missing subcomponents or cheap parts. But who cares for a limiter anyway in an amplifier? And this ends up with product resembling L-Acoustic, having the L-Acoustic look, but missing the L-Acoustic signature sound or manufacturer excellence. And here you've got two examples of tests we ran with fake products. These products have been seized in Russia. It was a fake Siva and a fake H5XT, if I remember correctly. And if you look at the graph, you can see that the line which is above is always the L-acoustic genuine products. So you can see that these fake products do not have the same capacities than genuine products. Some may resemble and may be acceptable from someone who is not from the market, but clearly there's a difference, and for some products there is a huge difference in the sound quality. And that's a problem for us, because people unknowingly using fake products will think that what they hear is the L-acoustic sound, but it's not, and they will start despising our company, which we do not want, because that's not our work. But our greatest fear lies with the safety issue. Reliability and safety have always been major issues for L-acoustics. Our products are thoroughly tested, often subject to mandatory certification with included safety measures. Replicas are not. Just keep in mind that replicas do not come from the same factories, are not made according to the same standard, do not use the same raw materials, and do not include the same components. It's two different products, totally different. And in the end, you arrive and you get that kind of product. These are products which have been seized in Norway. And you can see that those products who were only basically 2 or 3 years old are already starting to fall apart. And clearly, I've seen videos in better shape than this. And these products have been brought to France, where we are analyzing it to see clearly what has been put inside. Tests are ongoing for the moment, but yet we have already identified that the metal which has been used for those products is twice less thick than the one used in genuine products. And we are talking about products which are meant to be hung in the air above the crowd, above the band. So clearly, that's a major issue for us, because if a life-threatening event was to happen, clearly it would be totally disastrous for both L-acoustics and the entire live event industry. And especially since once the product is broken down, who has been caught in fire, it's very difficult to know if it was a genuine or a fake product, especially if you can still see the L-acoustics logo on it. So that's clearly something we do not want. But we are totally aware that acting against counterfeiting would be a never-ending story. As long as there is a demand, you will find someone to supply those products. So we are perfectly aware of it, and this is why we have decided to take a stance against it and set up a long-term plan to try to issue the various challenges that may rise because of that situations. And one of the primary tasks we have is to educate audio professionals and fans alike. Why so? You have to remember and keep in mind that counterfeiting is a purely capitalist mechanism. It's based on supply and demand. So as long as you've got a demand, you will have supply. Counterfeiters do not care about such thing as brand loyalty. They're only here for the money. So if there are some people wanting to buy, or at least not opposed to buying fake products, they will have companies offering them on the market. But people tend to focus only on the supply, acting against the producers, the manufacturers, the resellers. But you have to act against both the supply and the demand. You have also to educate audio professionals and fans to understand what is counterfeiting and how to do so. First, by participating in events like this, to inform you of what is at stake, but also giving general information on counterfeiting. It's like what we do on our official webpage. You've got a page for anti-counterfeiting, and also on a social network, you may have news about that. And last, by communicating on all the litigation we've won to help them understand that this is a risky business. It's not only against producers. We are acting against counterfeiting. It's totally different. But also another point which is rather important and where we have a lot of demand basically is for identifying fake from genuine products, because counterfeiters pay a great attention to the details. So differentiating fakes from genuines may be very difficult, because as for the external aspect, you have to focus on very small details which tend to disappear. And we know that our users and all professionals are eager to know our tips. How can we differentiate them? What are the area where we look at? The problem is that counterfeiters are not dumb. They follow us on social networks, they participate to trade shows. So if we tell them directly where to look at, they'll know what to change. But that doesn't mean that we will stay idle doing nothing. We are working on several solutions to help you identify some of those fake. First, through our all-access technology, which is only available to our certified provider for the moment, where you have an anti-counterfeiting module where you can check if a serial number is legit or not. And then, in line with EU regulation, we are also working on the marking of the products. As for the moment, the usual marking of L acoustics is basically only based on this sticker and a serial number. We are working to add unique QR codes and that kind of product, maybe NFC, we'll see that, so that with a mere smartphone, you could check if the product is valid or not, if it's something which comes from L acoustics. Of course, we also have to follow all new trends, all new marketing trends, because counterfeiters are in a way very active. You know, they always find solutions to market their product and bypass all our traditional monitoring activities. So in the past, they've been very active on trade show, because for years they have incurred no problems on it. Then they moved to internet, where you can easily find them with their own website, but mostly through a social network and marketplaces like Alibaba, Made in China, and others you know of. And lastly, they started a new way to approach customer with a direct contact, especially with that guy. So we received a lot, and I mean a lot, of email about people having received that direct message on social network to offer fake products, even people and companies from our network. And if you look at the profile of this account, it's basically empty. So it's difficult for us to identify how they do, but we know that some have changed their way of doing. And this is the reason why we need your cooperation. First, distributors, because you are the one who know better than anyone else your market and the people acting on it. So if there are suspicious activities, you will know it largely before we do. So do not hesitate. We are very interested in any information you can provide. Audio manufacturers too. Why so? Because this is not, as I said, an L acoustics issue only. When you find counterfeiters, you will see that they do not care about brand loyalty. They will copy anything that sells. So you will find fake L acoustic products together with fake DNB and fake GBL, fake Function One, whatever the brand. They will copy if they know that they can sell it. So if we act together, putting in place joint action, it will be better for everyone, because the more we are, the easier it is to convince local authorities to initiate criminal proceedings, which are the most deterring because it can bring people to jail. And in one of the cases, we managed to send people to jail because they copied fake L acoustic products together with fake Nexo products. And last, the whole live event industry should also work together. Why so? Because when you identify a distributor that has started, buying fake audios online, well, you know that someday he will start buying other things from China, fake lightning, fake video. So this is something where even if we're not exactly on the same market, there are things that we can do together, or at least information that we can share between companies. So, this being said, what do we do concretely? How do we act against counterfeiting? I don't know if you're familiar with Sun Tzu, but there's a quote of him in The Art of War that I really like. It's about winning in battle. It basically says that if you want to be invincible, you have to know yourself and know the enemy. If you know only one of those, it won't work. And that particular quote can be used directly for counterfeiting, because people tend to forget how important it is to know oneself, because the bigger a company grows, the harder it is for one individual to have a full overview of the activity of the company, the past products, the current portfolio, the future or ongoing project, even the market on which the company is operating. So that's the reason why you need to gather internally a task force with people from the various divisions of your company to exchange information, from sales to R&D, from communication to customer service. And that last service is very interesting. People tend to forget, but more and more people will contact after sales thinking their product is defective. But in some cases, you will find out that it's not a defective product, it's just a fake product. And so it can be an important source of information for everyone. But of course, you have to know your enemy, who they are, how do they contact their clients, where do they get their product from. So as to do this, internet is of course a major source of information, because you can find basically everything you want online. You can identify brands, you can identify companies, either distributors, producers. So within L Acoustics, and I will talk about it a bit later, we have put in place a monitoring system for internet, which adds to the manual monitoring that we can do. And so we have a lot of information, and we see what's posted on social networks and marketplaces. So it's a very good source of information. But real-life monitoring is also very important, because, as I said, for years they have not incurred any problem. So they have been onto the market, they have been participating in trade show, blatantly. So that's only a way to, that's also a way to gather information on those companies. And last, and I think it's the best information, is the information we can get from you. Because, as I said, you're the one that may come across counterfeiting in your life, in your job, so do not hesitate to send us an email. We've created a dedicated email address, stopcounterfeits@l-acoustics.com. So we receive a lot of emails, so we may take some time, answering you in person, but rest assured that we read all the emails we've got through that email address. Well, what are the steps that we put in place trying to limit, in fact, that counterfeiting? The first step would be to reduce the visibility. Why so? Because counterfeit products are illegal products, so you cannot promote them the same way genuine products are. So it's very important for us to prevent those products and those companies from becoming well-known. So that is clearly a first way of action. And as I said, we use internet a lot because this is their major means to contact people all over the planet. And we've put in place an online monitoring tool, crawling the web every day, basically, to get info on what's happening. And through that online monitoring, we managed to remove over 1,500 posts and listings a year. So this is the first way to clean the internet, to have less visible counterfeit, but it's not the only way to act, of course. When we have an information about a new company, either we've got an information for you or we found out ourselves on the internet, we systematically put them on a watch list and send them a cease and desist letter. Okay, most of you would say that it's totally nonsense, it's no use, they won't care. Well, Most of the time, that is the case. They don't care. But sometimes it has been enough to convince them to stop, their activities. And if they kept by the promise, that's okay for us. We won't bother them anymore. But most of the time, they do not care. And this is a very bad idea. Why so? Because if we send them a cease and desist letter, it means that we have already spotted them. And one day or another, we will go against them in a more deterrent way. And what I mean by more deterrent way is clearly legal actions. Regularly, we initiate legal actions all over the world against any people relying on fake products. Whatever the status, we may be acting against producers, distributors, rental company, even owners of fake products. And all over the world, we've made actions in the US, in Germany, in Norway, even in China, and there are other countries to come. So basically, they have to keep in mind that when we initiate such legal action, it means that we already have all the evidence we need, to prove the counterfeiting. So if they do not want to cooperate at this stage, we will go for the full package. Seizing of a product, destruction, maximum damages we can be awarded, communication of the case in our social network and our web page, publication of the name of the company together with the public judgment. So we will go as hard as we could, because clearly we really think that communication is a good way, to deter people from entering into this business or keeping in this business. And this is why you will see regularly also on our webpage or our social network information about product we've seized, litigation we've won, or even comparison between fake and genuine products to show everyone that it's not the same thing. And through all this action, we managed to achieve significant results in a rather short time, because when you keep in mind that we have put in place the anti-counterfeiting program only 3.5 years ago, it's kind of recent, but we managed to have 7 litigation initiated, and we have been successful in any of these 7 litigation. We have not lost any litigation we have initiated for counterfeiting, being awarded over $5 million as damages, seizing and destructing almost 200 products, and you can add also 100 products which have been cancelled. They were meant to arrive in the country, but thanks to our action, the order has been cancelled. As I told you, we remove also a lot of posts and listings every year, including in sometimes accounts on social networks. To this day, we have over 80 companies part of our watch list. So we know where to act, we know what to do. So in the future, be sure that there will be other actions like we've done in the various countries. And within our internal task force, 9 divisions are part of it. So this means that we can have a global view and exchange information on what to do, so that we cannot miss any information. And especially, we are very, we have decided clearly that people who are in direct contact with clients should be part of this internal task force: sales, application, even customer service, as I said. So this, in a recent time, managed to help us to achieve significant results. So I try to make a short presentation so that we can discuss if you want. So if you prefer contacting us directly, that's okay, no problem. So you've got my email address. I know that my name is complicated, so you can prefer the generic one, stopcounterfeits@l-acoustics.com. So do not hesitate. We've got still some time, so if you've got questions, I'm here for you. Yeah. Can we have the mic?
I have a powerful voice.
Okay.
I think they need
It's for the streaming.
They need it for the live stream, I think. Hello.
Hello.
First of all, thank you. I am surprised that the counterfeiters are actually able to make these products, as they are unique high-tech products. So I'm a little curious about how it's actually possible. Are they buying a product and copying it at face value, reverse engineering? Or does the industry also have a problem with IP leakage into the counterfeit market? That's my first question. And my second question is about repairs in the computer and phone industry. It's well known that the ability to repair the products has to be sabotaged to make it more difficult to reverse engineer the products. Is this something which is applicable in the live sound product industry as well?
Okay, thank you. So to answer your questions, I would say that first, like it was presented just a few minutes ago, what is important for counterfeiter is the overall aspect. What we learn is that clearly most of the time, almost 100% of the time, they do not care of what inside. So we own patents, of course, on various technology we have put in place, but clearly they do not copy the patented technology. They do not copy what's inside. They're okay putting just, all loudspeakers in the wooden cabinets. That's the wooden cabinet which is actually copied. And for this, of course, we are also started, registering design patents. So how do they manage to copy the external aspect of the products? There are several ways to do it. So first, as I said, they come to the trade show. So they take a lot of pictures of the products we expose basically on our booth. They also go online, and that's something we've seen in the US case, because we managed to get all the discussions between the counterfeiter and the distributors. And you see that the counterfeiters go directly to the official website to get pictures and get the 2D or 3D plans of the products. And based on that, knowing that they know how to make, I would say, usual loudspeakers, they manage to have something that it's really close. But as for us, an important thing is that we decided not to, let other people do the manufacturing of our products. Basically, we do not license products. We do not license production. We do it in our own factories located in France and in Germany, so as to keep all the IP inside. So that is why you see that there are some points, even not linked to the technology, but maybe more to the know-how, that those products have not. For example, for the type of paint or the number of layers of paint used, there are something depending on the products. They do not do the same on fake products, because first they don't know, and then it would take more time, more money, and they don't want that. They want a cheap product that looks like a genuine product. Have I answered your question?
It's a good answer, and also I'm curious about the repair aspect.
Well, as I said, it's a more difficult topic, I would say. Basically, for the repair, to make the real repair, you have to go through L-acoustics of someone of its network who have the full explanation of the repairs to be made and the repair kits. So making it more complicated won't necessarily change the situation, because they want it to look like. They do not care that it does not sound like. So even if they add the information to how to make the same product, I'm not sure they will do it, because it adds more steps when repairing, and it costs us more money because they are not using the same screws, for example, and all that kind of stuff. So at the time, I'm not afraid about that point, but we know things are changing all the time, and there are rumors that some companies may be using real wooden cabinets with fake loudspeakers in it. So we have not seen any pictures of or any video of it. So if you came across it, do not hesitate to send it to us, because we will be very interested in knowing. But well, as I said, that's the only point at the moment. It's not really that problematic to us. Another question? No, seems everything has been clear enough. Well, thank you all for attending this seminar. We keep it rather short, so you can go back to your booth and discuss with client and so on. So I will stay here a little bit, so if you have any question, do not hesitate. We can discuss it directly, or you can send us email at my address, Pauline's address, or the general address, topcounterfeits@l-acoustics.com. Thank you.